This week, we're celebrating 200 episodes of the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. This is the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Why would we celebrate 200 episodes of another podcast?
This is a song I wrote about the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Good Game, Bad Game podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man. He's been here for about 195 of the 200 episodes. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, how are you?
I was here in spirit
Oh,
for 201 episodes. Easy.
apologies.
Yeah.
I did not mean to say.
Every episode that I've missed, I've always thought about the podcast. And usually how happy I was that I was missing it for the week.
Fuck you.
Oh.
I wasn't trying to imply, of course, that
You weren't implying, you were straight saying I was a piece of shit.
That your spirit hasn't been, fully there for 195 of the 200 episodes.
All right. I'll let it slide.
How you doing? How was your
Good, I hope. Yep.
200
First time we've
episodes,
done the site, go ahead.
Please.
This is going about as well as it needed to.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I hope you're ready to hear about just me playing college football for the next 200 episodes.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm ready to hear about
Go
it now.
Orange. Yeah. Okay. I had my first controller throwing bitch fit.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Just in life, ever?
No. In this specific game.
Ah.
No. I have thrown many a controller before and only ever broken one, and then subsequently fixed it.
Naturally, as you do.
Yep.
What?
No, it wasn't like a spike the controller on the ground. It was like I typically, when I play games in my living room, I typically stand.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got so frustrated. Like I just kind of did like a turnaround and just kind of like frisbee my controller onto the couch and go for a walk.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Not
gotcha.
like I spiked it into the ground.
I am kind of the same way with my controllers, right? It's like you do the load to spike it, and then you bring your hand forward, and then you do a motion that's not too dissimilar to just setting something down, and you do it onto the couch with maybe a 3 to 5 inch drop, and that normally is enough because by the time I'm loading, I'm already thinking, I don't want to break my controller. Like, I've already started to simmer down from whatever anger I had. So yeah, so I hear you.
I think my brain immediately goes into right as soon as I'm about to release the controller, like my brain goes into, you're not going to want to fix this when you're pissed at yourself for spiking it onto the ground.
You don't have $70 to spend right now. You do not have $70 to spend right now, and how are you going to play your games if you don't spend that $70? You better not break that controller.
I have found that using special edition controllers really curbs the urge to spike them too.
That's a good call.
So I've been using my Xbox 28th anniversary controller most of the time.
All right, brag about it.
So yeah, the one that gives you the special background. No, I will say this. You know how they have the Road to Glory mode where you just play as one position?
Yep. Yeah, like the creative player, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I wasn't going to start with that. I was just going to go straight into Dynasty mode, which like the controls to this game and like the overall gameplay is totally different than last year's Madden to me.
Interesting.
So I've mostly just been doing like exhibition games just to kind of like, I don't know, just kind of get used to it. So like I've been playing as Syracuse and just basically murdering Mid-Atlantic, like the MAC, I guess it is. But yeah, Road to Glory mode is dog shit. I would not recommend anybody buy the game if that's all they're gonna play.
Really?
It's just like I understand they're trying to make it like realistic. Like you basically have to earn coach's trust. And so like you get a play call. And the more trust you earn, like the more you're able to like change the play in the huddle. So like I think with where I got like my current trust level, like I can change a play in the huddle like 25 times per game.
Okay.
But you only go from 1 play to 3 plays. Like it's not like you get a full playbook. And so like so many times it'll be like 3rd and 12 and the first play will be a running play. And I say that's stupid. Like why don't we actually try to win a game? And I'll do like the option to be able to select more plays and it'll be like another running play and a screen pass. So that's dumb. And then you can't audible, which is twice as dumb. And then like the receivers, and I've had this issue in Madden before, and I've actually changed the sliders, but I feel like the receivers catch like 30%, like of wide open passes.
Really?
It's bad. Yeah, I don't know. The real big issue is just not being able to audible, especially when you get like a throwing play. Because like you can just tell like, oh, if we run this play, like we run slants and they're just completely covering the middle, like I'm gonna get picked off.
Yeah.
But if I try to scramble, like my line's just gonna give up and I'm gonna get sacked. So I don't know. I got like 2 playing seasons in, and they're relatively short. And I can't do it anymore. It's just not fun.
That's crazy too, though, when you think about it, because the Road to Glory or whatever, if it's a college game, like you do four seasons, then that's it, right?
I think you can technically do 5.
Oh, okay.
I think if you don't play your first season, like if you don't start, you can play 5.
Okay.
But
yeah, that makes sense. But still.
Yeah. I don't know. And I also did like the hardest. I'm playing on All American, which I think is like the second hardest level. And I did, and I should also preface this with I'm doing like the quarterback position. I've heard bad things about running back and receiver too.
Okay.
Just from what I was reading online. But I did like the hardest like a chance to get a starting role.
Okay.
And like honestly, I saw a lot of people saying like not to do that because it was almost impossible. And I don't know, I didn't have an issue. Like I didn't play my first season, then I was able to start my second season. But
I'm sure it depends on like different positions.
Yeah, I mean probably. I'm sure
like,
quarterback is probably the easiest one to like.
Right. Because I saw the similar thing where somebody was like, do not play on this on like the lowest overall or the hardest difficulty in terms of game playing time and stuff. But the positions that they were like wide receiver and I think corner. And it's like, that kind of isn't all that surprising.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's like, it's easy to expect people to jump you in like those because there's multiple, right? Whereas like quarterback, kind of just the single depth chart. You know what I mean? Like it's a single line through. I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb way of thinking about it.
I also like can't believe that people do anything but quarterback and maybe running back in those kind of game modes.
Yeah, I can't believe people do defensive positions.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. You are a masochist if you can play defensively well.
Yeah. But like even that, at least you like are playing every play. Like, do you know how pissed off I'd get if like I was a wide receiver and then they only called running plays, which is apparently an issue that I was reading with that people were having. Like
that would be aggravating.
Yeah. So I'm giving up on that. I'm moving back. I'm gonna start playing Dynasty and bring the national championship back to Syracuse.
Hell yeah. I've definitely been getting the itch because of how much I feel like it's kind of dominating the current like social media for gaming and stuff, because I follow like MLB The Show people and stuff like that, and they're obviously making the jump because it's just another sports game, and it's just seeing it. I'm like, ugh.
I'll be interested to see. Like, I just saw the Madden 25 gameplay, and I mean it looks completely similar, and I imagine it's like all the same engine, just different players, different fields, things like that. I would love to see the bias, like the people who are playing college football and saying it's awesome and stuff, even though we haven't had a good Madden in God knows how long, probably since the last Madden 25.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if they move on to Madden 25 from NCAA and say it's dog shit or something like that. Because
sorry, go ahead.
I would say like it plays really well. There was a patch yesterday, and I will say it's even better after that, because like when I first got it, like honestly the graphics sucked. It like was kind of stuttery. Like it almost looked like I was streaming it at some points.
Really?
Not really enough to be game breaking, but just kind of annoying,
Yeah.
Like, this game has so much hype. We're at the end of a console generation, so like games should be pretty cleaned up by now, and it just wasn't. But I think they've got it resolved now.
I mean, yeah, some like some bugs are to be expected. It's just how things go, but like for there to be like graphical drops, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you ever see a world where EA does some sort of like do you see a world where they just put NCAA and Madden in and package them into just one game? Like hear me out. All right. And in no way do I actually think they're ever going to do this, but like I feel like they could, right? You put the two games into just the same game. You could still choose to only buy like a half, and the other half of the game is just locked, right? And like you could do all the modes, right? Like you can do Dynasty where you are doing like college, right? And you're like doing all the recruiting and all that stuff, right? And you're the head of college.
Head of college, indeed.
You're not like the head coach, or are you?
I don't know, honestly.
Okay, because if you are,
I think you're the dean of the business school, actually.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking you could do like a mode where it's like head coach mode. So like in that mode, you'd still be like in charge of like recruiting and stuff like that. But you could also get contract offers to then go and become the head coach of an NFL team, where you then like, and then you like and then you're just there, right? Like it's just Madden, and it's like the same, right? And like I feel like you could just find a way to like marry these, and like you already have Road to Glory where you can be a quarterback and do your 4 or 5 years, and then you can export that player to Madden, declare for the draft, and then take that player and play as them in the next Madden game. That would all just be seamless across the both games being in one bundle. And again, you can still have it like the separation of college and pro if you choose to only buy one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can just have like, say you have both, you can say like, well, do you want your career to start in college or do you just want to start in the NFL? And you can like have that split and you can have that option. And it just feels like an opportunity to actually just make like one massive game, bundle it together, sell it for $120 to get both, and $70 to get them individually. And obviously, you can take advantage of sales at various times to unlock the other half of the game and stuff like that. But I don't know. To me, it just kind of seems like you already have these like ways of combining them, and obviously the pipeline of college football and NFL is like so obviously there. Like I don't know, kind of seems like a missed opportunity to just package it all together under one game. You know?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Do you think they would ever do that?
I don't know, honestly. I do think seeing like how successful college football is, if they see that it's driving demand for Madden, sure. I certainly think there's going to be a lot of crossover between people who get college football and people who get Madden. So I mean, I think the integration would be really cool, but I don't think you can do it as an annual release then. Because like, how are you? Unless you're like crazy about this game, how are you going to get the value of doing like all of this stuff in college football and then immediately doing it in Madden in a year?
Yeah, no, I hear you. And listen, I've strongly been opposed to the yearly cycle of sports games and the fact that they just charge full price for what is effectively just a roster update. So personally, I would love if these games would be real and, I don't know if necessarily free to play, or if it was like, each console life cycle gets one game. Like MLB The Show releases on the PS5, right? And it's just it just becomes a live service game in a lot of ways. It's just continuously updated. I don't even care if it's like, oh, you want to get the new rosters, you have to pay a $5, subscription fee for the year to get it or something. I don't even care about that, right? Like,
sure.
I really wish, I think we're all honest about it. The problem is that there's really no other options, so we continuously just play the new iteration of these games. But we all agree that like not much changes gameplay wise, graphically anymore, right? Like at the end of the day, it's like, do they do anything different with the live service content that's already in these games and updated rosters? That's it. But I hear you completely. Like, can you get enough out of it before the next one inevitably releases? And that's obviously tough.
Yeah. I would. It's like the one model where I'd be okay with a subscription service.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it through EA Play though, because like there's not really that many EA games that I want to play. But like, whatever. I mean, fuck it. Make it $30, $40, $50 a year, and you get the EA Sports games, or like I don't know, tier it somehow. I don't know. I'm sure they'd rather have you pay more for more, and just not use what you don't want to use. But yeah, I don't know. And I don't buy the Madden games every year.
Right.
And this is kind of like college football coming out is perfect because, like, personally for me, unless they have some drastic change, I won't need to buy another college football game for a while. Because
Right.
like I don't need the newest college student,
Right.
in the game. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's not like you're that much of a diehard college fan to begin with, right? And then
I like going
furthermore,
to Syracuse football games, and that's pretty much it.
yeah, but like furthermore, like I feel like college, like being a fan of college sports, it's like like there's constantly turnover with
Mm-hmm.
your roster and stuff that like you can't get too attached to any one player because they're going to be gone within a year. You know, worst case, right, and then best case, they're there for 4.
Yeah.
So
I don't. Yeah, it's not worth it.
yeah, I hear you 100%. That'll honestly be really interesting because I do feel like the casual gamer was very excited about college football. Like people who played the old college football games, right?
Yeah.
Which those games
I never did.
Oh, really?
Never play other than like when you and I would do like you were working on the trophy, and I think we were able to both play like on your
Uh-huh.
franchise. Never owned one.
Wow.
Never played one.
Well, I mean, regardless.
I really didn't give a shit about college football 10 years ago.
That's fair. Those games didn't have like an ultimate team or live service mode from what I remember at least. So like again, that's like for the most part the appeal of any more new sports games, the next sports game. It's really just what's the live service roadmap and the content that's given there, because back on the PS3 or PS2 when a lot of these games were like starting out and stuff, right? The reason you would get the yearly releases is because there was a fundamental change somewhere within the game that made the game better than the previous years. Especially with college football when they couldn't do rosters, right? And it was all just made up players and stuff like that. And obviously you get good communities who build out rosters and stuff like that, so that you can use the people you want and whatnot. But like, you know what I mean? Like that, like there had to be fundamental change year over year, to the gameplay that made it worth getting the new game, and that's just not even the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder how many people who are playing this game, because it's obviously blowing up, but how many people are playing it because of the fact that it's like, oh, I get to just play college football again. They aren't touching the ultimate team or whatever mode they're calling it, right? And what is going to be their reason to get next year's should it come along, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting to see like what the drop off is.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be big, and then EA will be like, "Oh, I guess the hype's over.
Oh, I guess people don't want college football games.
See you in another 10 years."
We're shutting down the servers to college football 25, and that's going to brick the game completely for you.
Yep.
Oh, should have bought the new one.
Yep. Sorry. You guys did this to yourselves.
Did this
Maybe
to
you'll learn
yourselves.
next decade.
Nobody to blame but you.
So I want to go back to your idea of merging the two.
Sure.
And I think that's a fantastic idea because I finally want to put the theory to rest that Alabama could replace the worst NFL team every year.
Oh.
Like, right, if they're a combined game, you should be able to do like NFL versus college, right?
Sure, why not? that would be interesting. That would be interesting because they would have to really like hone in like player overalls and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they'd have to, because I'm assuming there are players in the college football game that are like, is there a 99 overall player?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a tight end for Syracuse that's a 91.
Right. And
And
it's
like
is
Syracuse overall is an 85.
yeah.
And that's definitely there. That's as a Syracuse fan, that's definitely not
Right. And so
That's
then you
not
think
right.
about it, and it's like, how many NFL tight ends are a 91 overall? And like, if you make it to the NFL, you are obviously the cream of the crop, right? Like, you are the top dogs. So how many like 91 overall tight ends are there even in the NFL? It's like probably 4, maybe, right? Like, so they would have to really hone that in, and that would be
Yeah.
interesting to see like the science that goes into figuring out player overalls, especially with having like pros to be directly compared to and against. But that would be sick. I mean, that would be like, that would make, I think that would make the experience like so much more authentic. And then you'd get these like, what's like the worst school in the college football game?
Kennesaw State, maybe.
Okay. And do you know what their overall is in like in the current like state?
I don't think there's any teams out of like the 70s.
Okay, that's crazy. But anyway,
Yeah, no, it's all rated very high. Like I said, Syracuse is rated an 85, and that's wild to me.
let's say the worst team is a 71 currently. Like,
That might be accurate.
you know, in this iteration where you have them combined, like the worst college team should be like in the 40s or something like that, right? Because the best college team will be like maybe mid 70s. Like maybe they're pushing what the worst NFL team is, which is like probably going to be low, because I don't think normally in Madden, I can't think of a time when a team was like a 69 overall or worse. Yeah. Thanks. I don't know. It feels like a really cool opportunity, and one that I'm almost certain they won't do, and I feel like it's a missed one.
Yeah. No, as long as they can get you to buy 2 separate games and not be happy.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I am also interested to see how many people actually do end up getting Madden, or like what the player count for Madden looks like at launch. How many people are going to be ready to move off of college football and jump into Madden? Maybe it'll be a lot. I don't know, but I'm very curious to see like what the number distribution looks like between these two games, because I do think there's a real possibility they kind of cannibalize each other.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like I don't know how you will like be able to make that switch. You know, like can you go back and forth between college football and Madden? I don't know. Like, are those the only 2 games you play in a week? On like the first half of the week, you play like college football, and then the second half, or like on Saturdays you play college football, on Sundays you play Madden.
Is that how you distribute your gaming? You have to keep yourself honest. You're like, all right, I really want to play Madden, but Saturdays are for Forza only.
My life is so volatile that I don't get to schedule out gaming. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, dude. I think 90% of my gaming happens during the workday. So if anybody listening wanted to dox me, you could absolutely send this to my employer and whatever. But
do you that favor?
Yeah,
because then
like
all your gaming will be during the workday.
Yeah, on that sweet unemployment line.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm preaching to the choir. Sorry, too real.
No, it's
Not real enough.
and I mean, it's it's easy to laugh about it now.
That's good.
Easier to laugh about it, I guess.
Yeah, I will say, like, most of the time is that I get to play on weekends is like Sunday morning. I really want to like convince my wife to let me like get up early Saturday morning. I'm talking like 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dreaming of this for like months now. I want to get out of bed like 7 o'clock on a Saturday, and I don't know why, because like during the work week, like I could probably sleep until 10, 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But like on the weekends, I like just want to get up as early as possible. I want to get up at 7 a.m. I want to make my coffee. I want to make myself breakfast. And I just want to sit on the floor of my living room like the old days. And I have a perfectly good couch, but I want to sit on the floor.
Okay.
And I just want to play video games until noon. That's all I want. She's going to sleep anyway.
Uh-huh.
That's all I want to do.
And wait, so why don't you?
Because she guilt trips me. She says, if you get out of bed, then I'm going to get out of bed, and I really want to sleep in. And for our past 4 years of marriage, I've let her win.
That's so funny. Because I do that. I wake up at 7 a.m. I come downstairs. I make my coffee. And I sit on the couch. I have a perfectly good couch, so I sit on the couch. And I play video games until 5, 6 p.m. She's going to sleep until noon anyway.
See, the issue is the couple of times that I've gotten up at 7 a.m. and granted, I'll give her some grace. There have been times where I've been able to get up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. But then I feel like it's a trap, so I get some work done around the house.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the dump, take care of the dogs. But I feel like if I start doing this and she says, well, I can't sleep, or I'm just going to get out of bed if you get out of bed, and then she's going to get up and she's going to fucking clean.
Which
she's going to vacuum.
Which guilts you, yeah.
And it guilts me. And also, like, how am I supposed to be hype for an 81-yard touchdown if I can't hear the announcers over the vacuum?
Yeah, totally.
But it's mostly the guilt thing. Like, women must know. My mom used to do the same thing. Like, I'd just be chilling in the living room. Except my mom would just yell at me. But
your wife doesn't yell at you?
No, she's worse. She's just passive aggressive. I wish she would just yell at me.
Yeah. I can't wait for the inevitable message of Justine got around to episode 200 that you send me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Love you. I appreciate you.
Nice. You saved it.
Do you want to hear something funny that I found that really, I think, kicked off this wanting to get up early on Saturdays and just kind of play video games until noon?
Uh-huh.
I found on YouTube somebody who has like digitized all of their VHS recordings of like Nickelodeon Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And I was out working in the garage a couple of weeks ago, and I just put it on. And I swear I was transported back to 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is sick. This is like therapy. They had the commercials and everything.
Oh man, that's awesome.
They had like that inflatable like hover disc balloon thing that I begged my parents for and played for once. I was like, yeah, that thing was cool that one time I used it.
Moon shoes?
Moon shoes, yeah. I never had moon shoes.
Me neither.
But I was never mind. I'm not going to go there. I'll tell you after we record.
Okay, great. Can't wait to hear what couldn't be put in the episode.
Um, um, yeah, no, that just really kicked it off.
There is something about these little glimpses of the past that we can get occasionally in our day-to-days, and the feeling that it provides is transcendent.
Yeah.
So anyway, college football's been treating you well, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I figured we didn't have an agenda for this week. We just didn't tell anybody that, so I figured I could just ramble on it.
Yeah, no, you're
I think
good.
we made some good points.
Yeah. I think we came up with I think I came up with a really good idea for something EA should do, and then you
Yeah.
corroborated that you think it's a good idea as well. And
I think as long as they introduce relegation as well.
oh,
Like, do you think when the Carolina Panthers get kicked out of the NFL, like
hang on a
there's no
sec.
way they're good enough to be an SEC school, right?
Can I talk about something that grinds my gears?
Yeah.
This is a total aside, but first off, don't try and get rid of the Carolina Panthers. I just moved to North Carolina. Like,
Well, I'm not getting rid of them. They would just be playing
right, but
UTEP
like,
or something.
I'm unfortunately a Colts fan, and so the only like reasonable way for me to get a chance to see the Colts play is if they come to Carolina, right? And like, if they get relegated, I'm not going to be. It's not going to happen.
They could play against Charlotte.
What?
If the Colts get relegated, they could play against Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yeah, the college team, university, isn't that? Would be the green sea with a little airplane in the middle.
I don't know. Maybe UNC.
No, the Charlotte 49ers.
What?
The Charlotte 49ers football program represents the University of North Carolina at Charlotte in college football.
Oh. Gross.
Were you not aware that you had a D1 college football team?
I was not.
Confusingly called the 49ers?
I don't. Yeah, it was. That's why I thought you were fucking with me.
No.
Oh yeah.
And
far
I'm
be
now
it from me to expect you to potentially be goofing and messing with me.
You really think I could be that quick?
Yes, I do. Am I giving you too much credit?
You give me far too much credit.
I also this analogy, real quick, is also like, fuck you. Why do the Colts have to get relegated? Am I not allowed to like a professional team?
No, they're just not good.
The thing that grinds my gears is that Shelby and I lived in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And when we moved there back in 2019, I was like, this is great because I've always wanted to go to like a championship parade. And I don't know, I don't know if my feelings are still so passionate about that, but I always thought it would be cool to see the city unified behind a sports team because the team won, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that would be like a cool experience, and didn't get to see it at all in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh normally has pretty competitive teams in football and hockey. I don't think they play any other sports competitively. And that's not even true. The Pirates are actually like decent now. And we're at the beginning of college. Anyway, so we go to Boston, and as soon as we get there, the Patriots fucking suck, right? Like Brady leaves, and now they just don't. They have no identity. The Celtics like make the playoffs, but they like never do enough. And the Bruins, I think, also made it to the Stanley Cup. the 1 year and then lost?
Was that the year they lost to like Vegas or something?
Maybe, and I can't remember. Maybe the Celtics were in the championship and lost. I can't remember. But the fucking year we leave, Boston wins the championship.
And you get Drake May.
just terrible. And like, what are the Hornets gonna do? Are they gonna win a championship?
They'll probably move.
And the Panthers, fat fucking chance.
You moved to North Carolina, and Michael Jordan said, "Fuck this, I'm out," and sold.
Yeah. He said, "Fuck that guy. Fuck them lungs." Anyway. Wow. It's our 200th episode.
Yeah.
Set it at the top. And you're right. We don't really have an agenda. I thought it would be fun, one, just to be able to talk about, whatever it is that we wanted to talk about, which talking about college football was obviously a blast. But I also thought it would be fun to just, reflect on 200 episodes. Did you know Seinfeld, very popular TV show, you've heard of it, yes?
Mm-hmm.
180 episodes.
Wow.
We are longer running than Seinfeld.
I think about that a lot. Like, not Seinfeld specifically, because I just never watched Seinfeld. But like 100 episodes is a pretty big like marker in at least like sitcom TV.
Yeah. And we're half as funny as a sitcom.
I would say we're twice as funny as Seinfeld.
Bold take.
Wait till you hear what I have to say about Friends.
I'm probably on board there. Yeah, no, like it is interesting to think about, and especially with doing like a weekly episode like we have been. 100 is 2 full years, just about. 104 is 2 full years of a weekly episode. With the 200th episode, we're about to wrap up the 4th year of doing this, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. I've been married to you almost as long as I've been married to my wife.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Like, well, first off, I've known you way longer. We've been married since
I just mean publicly.
2011.
6 probably. 11. That's all.
I was trying to go off of when did gay marriage finally get the okay?
Oh,
I guess never.
Yeah, you think like
I guess never, right? To take that society.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was trying to go literal with it. Yeah, it'd be like 2006 or 5 even maybe. Anyway, I was thinking about that. Like, I think I moved twice since we've started doing this. You moved once. We each had a major move.
This podcast has covered 4 states.
This podcast has covered 4 states. We've only recorded 1 episode in person together, I think.
Yeah. And that was over 2 years ago.
And that was over 2 years ago. I often wonder if because we've like since starting this, and again, we started this during COVID. Obviously, like we were already states away from each other. But I feel like since starting this, we've only seen each other in person. Like, you can probably count on one hand the amount of times.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like too conservative of an estimate, but still.
No, I honestly think it's like 3 times.
And I like often think, I'm like, is it the fact that we talk to each other consistently, weekly? Is that like almost why? Like, if we didn't do this, right, would that number be more? And I don't even really want to think about it because it makes me a little sad because I'm like, I don't know if it would be. It makes me sad to think about.
I see where you're going though, because it's like if we didn't talk every single week, we'd probably like make more of an effort to see each other in person.
Well, I go, would we? Like,
Yeah.
The hope is, yeah, like you know, it's easy to say, like, yeah, we would, but it's like, I don't know, it makes me a little sad to think about, like,
I'm sure, like, I don't know. I put that degree of effort in, like, I don't know, like this past week, I have a friend that, I made dinner plans with that I haven't seen in at least over 2 years. And then we don't even keep in touch.
I think that invitation for dinner got lost somewhere. I didn't get that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better. So we were supposed to meet at a brewery in between Lancaster and Philadelphia, and they were closed. And I'm not going to dox the brewery. I will say this. If the book 1984 were real,
Okay.
this would be the brand of the brewery.
Okay.
I've never liked their beer. Their beer actually, every time I've had it, has made me sick. Not like drunk sick either. Like I'd have one, and I would immediately feel sick. So he and I were gonna meet out there. We get there, and nobody in the parking lot. And I said, "That's weird. I must not be the only person with my opinion." And I walk to the door. I walk up to the door and they said, "Oh, we don't have power. We're closed." And it's like, you couldn't have fucking put that on your social media or your website or anything. Because I checked.
They had
like,
no
to make sure
power.
Got me there. That's my fault. I'm just an asshole. Yeah. So anyway, we went to Chili's.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been to a Chili's in a while. This is probably the first time I went to a Chili's in like the past 10 years.
It's probably been about, it's been since college, for sure.
Yeah.
So
it
at
was,
least 5. At least.
It was the perfect place for me to have dinner with this person. Completely fits everything. Our friendship just couldn't have been better.
When you inevitably make your way down here and I get to show you all my favorite hotspots of Charlotte, I'm gonna take you to fucking Chili's. And you're not gonna remember you're not gonna remember that we had this conversation, and the entire time you're just gonna be thinking, why the fuck is Spencer bringing me to Chili's? This does not sum up our relationship. This is not the perfect place for us.
Should we record a podcast episode at Chili's? You can't tell me they would care.
I don't think they would. I think we could do that. I think we could pull that off. All we have to do is show them our credentials, which is we've recorded 200 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That has to count for something.
Yeah. It sure does.
But yeah, I just I can't in a lot of ways I can't believe we've managed to actually keep up with this.
Yeah. This is probably like the longest running thing I've done in my life. So, for breathe, and even that's, I know you can't speak to that, but
yeah, it's the most consistency I've ever had with something, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, we so obviously 52 weeks in a year. So that would mean that episode 208 would be the end of the fourth season, and thus begin the fifth year of the podcast. However, that is the one slip up. The only time we have missed an episode is when my lungs said no thanks.
Yep.
So episode 207. But I mean, every other week we have had an episode, and even weeks when we wouldn't have been able to record, we found ways to get stuff up ahead of time and stuff like that, which is great.
Even times when we've had episodes recorded.
Even times when we've had episodes recorded. That and
I recorded like 205 episodes, or at least performed 205 episodes.
I know one for sure that like the export broke or whatever, or when I went to hit stop recording it broke. There was that one. That was the best episode ever, and
it was too.
And then we quickly recorded a 15-minute episode to put up in its place. So we still had something up. Again, testament to our commitment to content. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was that one for sure, and then there was the one time back when I had the super janky setup, when I had to record both of us on my Mac, and that one time I forgot to hit record, and so
I still remember you going like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
mid sentence.
Yeah,
it's ingrained in my memory.
And then I think there's been a couple of instances where there was only a couple other instances where I think I forgot to hit record at the top, and then we only recorded like 10 minutes. And then there was one time where I ran out of storage, but I caught that really close to what had happened. And that was recent.
Yeah.
That was like...
Was that Chris and Jess's? Didn't we have to redo Chris and Jess's or something?
Oh, I deleted Chris's journey into games. And so I ended up having to do that because you, like, just me, because you...
I said enough's enough, and
you said I'm sick of this. Yeah, you went full on diva on me. No, I think you were traveling or something, so, which is the whole reason why we recorded it in the first place. So then Chris and I think solo did that one, or I'm just misremembering. I don't know.
No, I think that's right.
So yeah, you're right. We're probably pushing close to 205 performed. And in some instances recorded and then deleted foolishly. Yeah, you'd think after so many episodes I would have a better system, but I still fly by the seat of my pants, dude. It's the only thing that gives me a rush. I love cleaning off the videos that I don't name and they're just the recording date. I love deleting all those and then going, oh, did I need one of those? It's great. Trying to think what else. When did you get Luca?
Coming up on 4 years ago.
So
he just had his 5th birthday.
So did you have Luca before we started doing this? Yes, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was wondering if we've seen 2 or 3 pets. So only I've added to the pet count for the podcast.
I've technically had like a bunch of fish.
Oh yeah, okay, let's count fish.
They're more of a pet than you'll ever be.
Do you
have the time?
Do you count fish as pets?
I do.
Do they provide you with the same petness of dogs and cats?
Yeah, dude. We like keep a squeaky toy above our one fish tank and they chase it. It's awesome.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay, so how many fish?
A lot.
All right. So you've contributed a lot. I've contributed 2.
Yeah.
Which I think sums up the podcast.
Yeah, I certainly have put more effort in than I just make you the, host and producer to make you feel good about yourself.
Which I did want to talk about. I feel
Nope.
like after a
Nope.
4-year run, and given very clearly my decline, I have no choice but to endorse you as the new host of the Good Game Bad Game podcast.
Mm. Nope. Not quick-witted enough to make a political joke.
Okay.
That's not obscenely inappropriate.
Okay. Then we can just leave it at the joke I was making. I do think going into year 5, maybe time for a revamped intro song.
Oh yeah. Like the one I was going to actually record and never did.
I mean, we've been rolling with the our intro has been the same since the day you played the recording you did off of your phone into the microphone, but it didn't come through. So I had to line up the recording that you then sent me. And the intro has, I think, me laughing as I'm hearing bits and pieces of it. It has me clapping. It has you whispering seductively, "Good game, bad game" podcast. It's incredible. But I feel like maybe it's time to get a revamped intro song.
Yeah. Start working on it.
That's completely on you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll do it. I'll work on it. I have an idea.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
All right.
But I have to learn how to play a very specific instrument that I own. I just don't know how to play.
Perfect. You have 7 episodes.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. That is the challenge. That is your mission, should you choose to accept it. But obviously, you have however long it takes. I don't really care.
I wonder how this microphone you gave me would do in recording said instrument.
Probably
pretty good.
I don't see why it wouldn't. Can I know what the instrument is? Is it trumpet?
No.
Oh. Is it a mandolin?
No, but I wish.
Is it a banjo?
No, but I also wish.
Is it? I feel like
I wish it were a mandolin so I could do like an REM themed.
Yeah.
That's me in the podcast. Good game, bad game podcast.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, we've got that. Now just put that.
Okay.
Put that in.
All right. All right.
It is a reed instrument.
Ooh. A recorder.
I don't know what to say. The fact that was your first. No. Anyway.
A saxophone.
Perhaps.
No way.
I have no idea how to play saxophone.
But
every time I've tried it, I've just fried my mouth.
But you have a saxophone?
I do.
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, dude, a sexy jazzy intro song. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
you have 7 episodes. Oh man.
Get on Fiverr and find somebody who knows how to play saxophone,
and have them just do the record it, right? Not teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Right.
Anything that you want to see anything you'd want to change for the next 200?
Well, I guess we've thrown out doing videos for 6 ever, maybe.
No, we could probably do video.
Probably could. But will we?
I don't know. Do you have a good enough camera?
My brother in Christ, I have a Microsoft Kinect hooked up to my laptop. I think I'm good.
Okay. All right.
No, I honestly I wouldn't use that because it like gets really glitchy. But yeah, I've got a good enough camera.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. All right. I have 7 episodes. Yeah, I have a fancy back in 2020 or 2019. What camera should I use if I'm a streamer? I have the one that everybody would have gotten at the time. Just one of those Logitech.
There's probably a bunch of those for sale right now on eBay.
I'm
cheap.
sure you could find my exact model. It's still good too, you know. It's not.
Yeah.
It's nothing incredible. It's not a DXLR.
DSLR?
DSLR. I was trying to look over at my wife, and she's mysteriously disappeared.
Oh no.
So, anyway,
she's most dangerous when you don't know where she is.
seriously. All right, yeah, okay. Video coming soon.
Yeah. I also think we should go back to our roots and do a GTA casino episode.
Okay.
But I would have to figure out how to screen capture for that long.
Yes. But at the very least, I'd be able to
I would
capture
probably just
and get your voice and everything. So
true, but then you wouldn't be able to. I guess you wouldn't necessarily need like my point of view, right?
no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna run off and start, you know. But if we're staying within the casino and we're going to the same tables,
good chance I might get into a shootout on the rooftop. Of the casino,
yes. Yeah. Of course.
Once I lose all my money, I have
right.
nothing to live for.
Fuck this! I'm going to the roof. No, Mike, no!
Get me the dealer.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be fun. It would be fun to do some like especially when there are new games. Kind of do like a first run at stuff.
Yeah.
And just hop on like a Discord and somehow figure out a way to like screen share and stuff.
Every time there's Soulsborne games, just no tutorial, no nothing, hardest difficulty, just
hardest
run
difficulty.
In, play, and podcast.
Hardest difficulty. This fucking guy. He doesn't even know. There is no difficulty setting. It is the hardest difficulty, Mike.
The joke was in there somewhere.
Yeah. That would be fun too to do stuff like that, I think. To kind of like have the over the shoulder backseat sort of gaming aspect. I feel like that'd be fun. And I think we could figure out a way to get that set up. That though would potentially require you to be able to capture on your end.
I mean, Elgatos have to be cheap enough now, right?
Yeah, you can probably get one for like $100.
About $350.
About $350. I'm sure you can get it. I'm sure you can get one that's better than mine for less than I paid for the one that I had gotten at the time.
Yeah.
I could just do what I did with the microphone too, and I could just say, "Oh, I'll upgrade," and I'll just send you my old one.
I mean, that would work.
I guess I can upgrade my camera too and send you that.
I don't need a camera.
I don't need to upgrade my camera.
That's good.
All right. Yeah, got a couple good ideas brewing here.
Should we start a GGBG house? Like, should we buy a house in LA, and we'll both live there, and then inevitably like get in a lot of trouble in 10 years for stuff we did at that said house?
So I feel like for the most part, we want to try and be very yes and with each other, right? Here's the problem. I have a hard time even entertaining this joke because I am so incapable of ever being able to buy a house, Mike, that I am distraught. I am triggered at what you just said, and it's gonna take me a minute to come down from this.
Should we start a BlackRock competitor?
Uh-huh. Was that it? Was that the full?
Well, yeah, that way we can buy a house.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. We just need a small loan of 8 million from our grandparents, and then I too will be able to have an article written about me and my ability to save money.
Yeah.
And purchase things.
We did all this by ourselves.
Yeah. All right. So, video. Some maybe some gameplays and stuff occasionally, and investing in property, and that's what's next for GGBG. Yeah.
It's like just inconspicuous enough to work.
It's just crazy enough that it might work.
Yeah.
Brilliant
podcast pivots into real estate.
Two white guys who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and did the impossible, made a podcast. I've been trying.
Why didn't they just go to therapy, you ask?
I mean, it sounds like you're double dipping therapy. You do the podcast and then you do cartoons in the garage.
Yeah, and crystal meth.
And crystal meth. I've been trying to get back semi consistent with like uploading stuff to my YouTube channel, which is mostly just like taking clips from the previous month of streaming and just compiling those together. And then I've also started a separate video. But while I was there and like working on uploading stuff, I'll occasionally like see that old videos have, for whatever reason, gotten a couple of views. And recently I saw the A Way Out series that you and I completely recorded together. And that really took me back.
Hell yeah. You like actually came over to my house for that, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It was a great time. It was phenomenal. I think we played the entire game in like a night, basically.
Yeah. I think all but like the very end we recorded the next morning or something like that.
Yep. It was, good times. Good times. So yeah, I would love to do another gameplay recording with you. And thanks to technology, we can now do it worlds apart.
Yeah. Things we couldn't do 4 years ago.
I'd also love for you to be in person over my shoulder one of these days.
You can actually see that I do play video games every now and then.
We can seat swap and and yeah, we can actually prove that you do sometimes play video games. Well, I know this was a very random episode, and we didn't talk about anything. Well, we talked about college football, which is current, so we'll count it.
Yeah.
But if you listened, thank you so much. Thanks if you've listened for more than just one of the now 200 episodes. Really, thank you. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to moving on and trying maybe a couple of new things. As always, if you could leave us a rating or a review, it'd be greatly appreciated. It would really help out. And I guess most importantly, if you can share the podcast with a friend, that too would be greatly appreciated. We'll see you next week for an all new feeling, the 201st episode of the Good Game, Bad Game podcast.